Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be looking at a 2022 LEGO Ninjago set. This is Jay's Thunder Dragon EVO, and it's designed for kids 6 years old and up. The set includes this new unique dragon with the dark azure and cool or light yellow color scheme, and then a new version of Jay and a new type of snake-based enemy, reusing a mold that they've used already twice with 2 different color schemes. Now they've brought it back with another color scheme. In universe, this does not represent anything that has actually existed in any of the official media, so there is not a series or a season of the show that's going to include this. It's just an entire series, this release season of physical products that give homage to the entire theme of Ninjago, and basically allow them to put more toys on shelves that are fresh and new without having the media to go with it. And then we'll get more normal mainline stuff later. The build of this is very interesting because you do not build the dragon like this at first. Instead, you build something that looks kind of like a dog. It's much shorter, does not have the wings, and has a shorter tail, and it's just generally less imposing looking, more like a pet. Now there's a certain brilliance to that, because when this is in its more simplified and smaller form, well, it's just quicker to start playing with it. It's all done with kind of a modular design. You can easily take these segments out, bring it back to that original form if you want, and they kind of tie it in. They suggest that you use your imagination a little bit and tie it into a gameplay mechanic. You know, it's all completely made up. You have to use your imagination, but the idea is that if you defeat a bad guy, then you can get an upgrade, and upgrade from this version of the dragon to the next version. But I mean, this by itself is actually not bad. I think this looks better and looks more complete and looks more high-end than it does with all the other stuff added on, because it's just more compact and feels like it really commits to the style. You know, it's kind of a low poly version by today's standards. You can see just how they've printed here. It's not the, you know, it's not the highest level of detail that they're going for there. I like the dual molding here, but it all just feels very simple, as it's supposed to be, because it's a 6+ set. They've got this new for wait, is it new for 2022, or did they? I think they might have done one thing in 2021 with this piece that has an angle to it and is used for mechs and such. But you know, it allows it to have an angle and allows for quick and easy builds for the younger kids to be able to start playing immediately. So you put this together, you put the figures together in simpler forms without all their accessories, and then you're ready to start playing, which is exactly what kids naturally want to do. And this has enough articulation even without the knees. You know, you can make it do the basic things that you want. Let me see if I can get it to actually stand up as well. This is not something that I've tried before. It's not the type of dragon you would expect to stand, but wait a minute. Hey, this is not bad. That is acceptable. That's more than acceptable. It's not on the tail. It's kind of cool. You know, you've got enough articulation with the neck that it's able to look down. And this is just so simple in how it's built, but I'll take it. This will work for a 6+ set. Yes, I will accept this. But then when you want to do a little bit more, because, you know, parents did pay for this, kids, so, you know, take advantage of all the stuff that you got. That's a printed piece right there. It's supposed to represent a banner that you would get as an upgrade, or it would drop from the enemy. You get it as an upgrade, and that allows you to then increase your speed. It's supposed to be a speed upgrade. So at this point, lengthen up the dragon, you know, make it more sleek and upgraded. Just do that right there. Nice thing here is that these simplified joints with not a whole lot of pieces and the simplified limbs are not getting in the way. They're not annoying at all. I'm not having to worry about making sure that they're lined up properly. I'm not having to worry that they're going to you know, come apart in weird ways. I think I'm putting this on backwards right now, but, or maybe I put the other one on backwards. There we go. Get that like so. Yeah, I put one of them on the wrong side. But the last thing is just to take this little bit of tail here off, snap it in there, add this as a little bit of lightning tail weapon, and there you go. You're good to go. And I'm intentionally not being careful here because, well, kids aren't going to be super careful with it either. Again, I did put one of these wings in the wrong way, but that's okay. These are nice little dual molded wing pieces. You'll get these in different colors. This moves around a little bit. The wing these are like winglets, but you can imagine that it just adds a little bit of ability for this to glide, you know, and of course use your imagination. You can see them as being wings that really work. Maybe they have a little bit of repulsor action with the energy, the magic Ninjago energy that's built into them, but they don't look like glorious large wings. So definitely not what I personally like to see for wings, but they're not bad for the toy. This doesn't do much for me, but it definitely adds to the look of the whole thing. And finally, the jaw is able to open up all the way. There's no detail on the inside. This is kind of a letdown here in terms of its feel. It's a new piece for 2022 right there, but again, for the target audience, I think that this is a good toy first and foremost. It's just down on looks for folks who are a little bit more advanced. I'm not a big fan of the somewhat flat graphic design style of this series here, but Jay in particular, I think, does kind of work out with the color scheme. I think that's respectable. It's interesting that he's got the light yellow colored arm over on this side and the light yellow or cool yellow colored katana as well. I believe that's the first time we've gotten that piece in that color, and it's nice to see. Overall, the quality of printing here is pretty respectable. Again, I just personally am not the biggest fan of that flat kind of look. I prefer to see a little bit of depth in there. Now, when you first build this, he does not have the scabbard and the pauldron on one side there. And that's intended to be part of his upgrade, as is the hood. So they do give you the hairpiece here as well as the hood, which is the new color combination. First time we've gotten that color combination for that nice dual molded hood piece. So you get both of those options as well, which is good. You know, not too many additional pieces used to let you have different things that these can represent, or different stages, different phases. I'm more happy that they did the phasing thing with this snake warrior, as they call it, specifically a viper flyer in this case, because it does definitely take extra time to build up brick-built accessories like this wing pack that's on here. Those are supposed to represent like vibro wings sort of things. They would work like dragonfly wings, I believe, in universe. And by just having a kid put the three major parts of the figure together and put a weapon in its hand, again, it gets you closer to the point where you can have some play very, very early on, which again is exactly what kids naturally do. As soon as they have anything put together that looks like a toy, they start to play with it, and it feels good. So I appreciate that. And again, going with the phased approach to play here, once you defeat the basic version of this and you upgrade your dragon, well, this guy comes back and now he's able to fly as you've then added the extra parts. Now this looks really good. It looks actually almost too good for something that's practically a throwaway in terms of the in-universe story and everything. The level of detail, I think, on this figure all the way through is really good, and the color scheme is striking. Look at the print on the back of the torso as well, which you do get to appreciate by default since the pack is not put on by default. Oftentimes I mention with higher end sets, you know, they're made for older kids, that it's such a shame when there's a really nice design on the back, but you never get to see it because there's a bunch of stuff that's always on that figure. So another very, very small win there. And then conveniently, these are the only leftover pieces from the set, and they're all weapon things, so you can just use them. Now, I paid $20 US for this. That's its standard retail price, and I feel like the amount of toy that you get here for that price is pretty appropriate. Maybe you could have had a little side build or something to sweeten the deal, but just generally speaking, it feels pretty good. Even though the price to part ratio doesn't look great, and most of the pieces in here are closer to medium size. It's not full of a whole bunch of 1x1s, as you saw with the lack of tiny spares. One thing that I definitely do not like about this set is the package design. It's the package design that they've used throughout this series on the back. It looks like a prototype. I mean, literally, when there used to be a lot more leaks going around, a lot of them looked like this for box art that was not complete, just white in the background. So this is really awkward feeling to me, even though I get it. If you look at it, it's trying to sell you on the EVO concept and how to upgrade and how it's built in a modular way and everything, but it just looks really, really, really weak, not exciting at all. This is the type of thing that would make a kid look at it in the target age range and just say, nah, maybe this looks kind of cool, exciting, it turned out, nah, never mind. So again, package design, Lego doesn't always get it right. I think that the designer definitely got this right though. As a toy, again, fundamentally as something to play with, and that whole idea of having something kind of complete, ready to play with quickly early on in the process is really great. And then you add more stuff later. It also, I feel, encourages kids to do more custom stuff with their builds, because so many kids these days do not do custom stuff, do not deviate from the instructions. But this tells you, okay, the following is correct, but the following is also correct. So now I can take this out and I can think, well, okay, so I can make it like this. Now I've kind of done a custom thing, and it's a gateway to doing more original work. So I think there's a lot of good stuff going on here. And I think that this is just a toy that unfortunately looks a little bit weak to teens and to adults who have very high expectations and want collector level stuff. But for the kids it's made for, I think there's a lot of good going on here, and I look forward to checking out more of the sets from this series and possibly following this same sort of approach to toy design in the future in other themes. Those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching. Catch you again soon.